How are you guys doing? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. In this week's video, I want to talk about should you become an entrepreneur. In this video, we talk a lot about economics and investing, and there's a lot of entrepreneurial undertones, but I haven't really made a lot of content about it. And I want to say in the last couple of years, more so than even investing into markets, my biggest investments have been into my businesses and myself, like self-investment into entrepreneurship. So, and I've learned a lot about being an entrepreneur. They teach nothing in schools on how to become an entrepreneur. So you're really, out there, trying to figure it out. And I guess one of the good things is as you figure things out, you see how uncompetitive the field is, because there's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. So you don't even really have to probably be that good of an entrepreneur to have some success. And it really takes some investment coaching. And I guess, the reason I wanted to pose the question, should you become an entrepreneur? Because in one tool I've bought for my business kind of says maybe no. Maybe not everyone should be an entrepreneur. And the tool I bought is called Culture Index. So what it is, it's a personality survey to see, what is your superpower. And your superpower, may, for an entrepreneur, I would say would have to be like a high vision. The survey measures your ability to see forward and have vision and be creative and have an appetite for risk and certain factors with that. And these are good things for anything to do with, revenue. And of course, every business needs revenue, right? And you may not have it. You may not be comfortable with putting yourself out there and even really marketing yourself. Some people do not want to do that at all. And for some people, it may be very difficult for them to do because it's not the inherent strong traits they have. And should you spend your life trying to be very different from who you naturally are, or can you change yourself? It actually takes a pretty long process to change yourself, if at all possible. The science isn't quite there saying for sure you can. The science more suggests, who you are as a teenager is actually a pretty indicative person to who you will end up being probably the rest of your life. Now, I don't know if I agree with that entirely, but I can see how a lot of that is true. And so it just, even if you have traits with the culture index suggests in like the vision category, maybe you still don't have, you won't be most fulfilled owning a business. You may be most fulfilled as a salesman or most fulfilled as a marketer or something with that. And and just in general, entrepreneurship is so fascinating because, again, there's so much of not knowing what you're doing and finding the good tools out there, and we invest a lot into things to make us better as entrepreneurs. So whether that's Tony Robbins seminar, or even more recently, we bought something called EOS, and we just started it, and so far super happy. Both of these tools are very expensive, very expensive, but. So is that, education in general, we don't frown on paying for college education. Sometimes we say it's too expensive, but we generally know we should buy education for ourselves and invest in ourselves to make ourselves better, right? So you definitely have to do that. And it's really helped, EOS has helped kind of structure what a company really should look like. And so you can actually have a company, because something I always feel like I'm victim of, and certainly in earlier times of businesses I've worked with, do I own a business or do I own a job? And a lot of times, you will catch yourself owning a job, and it used to be all the time, So I just more recently feel like comfortable with even saying I'm an entrepreneur. And that's why I kind of don't even have it in like my Instagram handle, because I didn't really feel like I had it. I knew I can invest, I knew I can sell, but am I actually an entrepreneur? And the answer was probably no. But I am now learning, and I really feel confident in some of these entrepreneurship investments I've made in Culture Index and also EOS. So EOS, the main structure is a business must have that visionary, right? And the visionary can have kind of, really good vision traits, which this is probably for one of my companies. I am the visionary. Another company I own, I'm not the visionary. I'm kind of an acting integrator at the moment, but that's not my strength. But visionary is going to have vision, but they're not going to be good at certain accountability things. There's always focus on the creative and kind of how things get done. They're kind of all gas, no brakes. That's kind of what who I am. And while that sounds like fun in some ways, it's also not always the best. So you have to build around a personality like that. And rather than saying, Ryan, go ahead and change and learn how to pump the brakes here and do that, investing in these types of tools says, no, like do that and build around your skills. So you have the visionary and then you have the integrator. So the integrator is one that helps bring the visionary to ground and execute on vision. And he has tools to him. He has a revenue department, an operation department, and an accounting department. So, and his job is to get the best people in those seats as possible. That's where Culture Index is a big tool to make sure personalities that fit these seats, whether it is the visionary, whether it is the integrator, whether it is revenue generation, whether it is director of operations, whether it is, some director of accounting, you have the right people in these seats. This works for a small business. This works for a Fortune 500 business. So, really makes me feel like I see light, because again, there's not good tools for this, and there's a lot of days, that I've had, and especially, there's some, really hard times of owning a business. It's like, man, I wish I was just delivering ice cream or something, or delivering mail. And I was just saying jokingly, we could have done these things with our life, but we've chosen to do different things. And it's been a lot of fun. It's very fulfilling. But again, not for everyone. And if you can just make sure you're someone that knows you don't want to own a business, make sure you're at least finding a business that's investing in itself properly and caring about these things and really trying to create a better workplace culture. We work very hard on our culture, and we practice things like extreme accountability. Everything is kind of management's fault, if you will, or we're willing to share in that always. We could always do better. And we try to have that seep through our culture, that if everyone shares in extreme accountability, like the whole system is like pretty cathartic and happy, and like and you're gonna mess up, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna fail at things, and just knowing that kind of everyone sharing accountability is important, but no one's gonna just want to share accountability. They're gonna, if I genuinely feel like if someone broke something in the warehouse, that somehow I know it's my fault, because one, I have to pay for it. So two, are we given proper training? Do we have the right kind of forklift? Do we have it? All these things. And if we can say all these things honestly, then you have to say, well, have I hired the right person? Is their culture index good for this position? Is this something they're going to be good at? Are they fulfilled in their work? So you really have to look at everything. It is always, especially at a shareholder level or an ownership level, everything is your fault. And if that's and I think that's really helped us be successful. And I think if you are not willing to kind of share in that feeling, then owning the business probably isn't the best thing, because you're just going to be mad at everyone all the time, or someone all the time. Not everyone all the time, but you're going to be generally disappointed, and having to say it's my fault why this person called out today, or this, that, like literally everything that you would think in your head generally is this other person's fault is your fault. It's pretty crazy. So there's I can't share some other struggles I've had this year. Out of respect that we're not sharing it, but we've settled something super stressful. So really felt yesterday, for the first time going on this walk, I felt so optimistic and so grateful for everything in front of me. This weight that was kind of psychologically for a lot of it, or even probably pretty real, holding me back, is gone. It's gone. So I feel really enlightened and ready to crush it in all aspects, and focus on other parts of my life now too. That being a father is something I've been like so driven by. And if you care to see a kind of some fatherhood content, I almost made a video today on something pretty profound that I've been doing in my house, and any other fathers out there, raising kids. I've had some good conversations with friends who are fathers, and just I like to surround myself with good fathers. I think that makes a better likelihood that I'll be a good father. But anyways, let me know your thoughts and comments down in the comment section. Should you own your own business? Should you try? Do you want to? Do you care to never own your own business? I think anyone can invest in a business, but actually starting and running it and doing all those things that I've kind of tried to do my 34 years now. But my sales kind of entrepreneurship, I started in sales. Entrepreneurship came really somewhere around 7 or 8 years ago. So it was somewhere in my mid-20s. I really was like, that's something I want to do and try. And learning as we go. So I want to keep on following the journey. Hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And I'll see you in my next one.